Morning everyone. Today I want to talk to you about educating children in business and the dilemma it poses. So it's a lovely sunny morning, which is beautiful. I think I'm about 6 or 7 miles into a 10-mile run, something like that, maybe a bit shorter. And I've been thoroughly enjoying listening to Traffic Secrets, the latest book from Russell Brunson. It's a book that I've been wanting to read for ages, but I don't read books in a paper-based copy, and it's only just been released on Audible. So, and the first book as well, .com Secrets, has also been released on Audible. So finally, I can listen to the two books I've been wanting to listen to for a long time. But today I always talk about personal life, personal development, personal education, and I want to talk to you about a topic which is quite widely debated, and it's educating your children in business or entrepreneurship. You know, when should you start? Should you do it? Is it the pushy parent syndrome? All these types of things that kind of go through your mind when you do this. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is that obviously I'm hugely passionate about entrepreneurship, what it can do for you, the journey it creates. It can give you the life that you truly want. It can give you the chance to live your dreams. Whereas I think the traditional life of what the education system teaches you, work till 65, 70 to earn a job, spend all your money on your house and your livelihood and everything. It's difficult to have enough savings, all that type of stuff, is a pretty flawed message. And I don't think it has to be that way. I also think that children are coming into a world, well, my children, I've got 3 lovely kids, 2 boys and a girl, an eldest boy who's 9, a middle girl who's 7, and the youngest boy is 5. And they're everything to me, obviously, as my wife and my family. But I want to give them the best start in life. Now, I've already told you that my dream and goal, highest values, is leaving my family a legacy. I've pretty much done that already with the portfolio I have. I'm consolidating it, trying to reduce the level of gearing, so it's more beneficial to them when they come to take it over in the future. But they take it over, they sell it, whatever. The equity's there for them to give them a really good start in life, and that was my highest driver. I want to build it further than what it is already. So that's why I'm doing everything else at the moment. But me and my wife are very much polar opposite, and I think we work really, really well together because of that. I'm incredibly driven, ambitious, love a challenge, fixated to kind of to kind of make a difference in the things that I believe are super important to me in business, entrepreneurship. But I probably lack in some of the more important things probably in life. Like, I sometimes get so headstrong in a certain area, I forget about the things that matter most, like kindness, caring, empathy, teaching the core values, the core mannerisms that make up a good person. Sometimes lack in some of those, and I am conscious of them. Hence I habit track kindness acts to my children and kindness acts to my wife. Things like this to try and make myself a better person, because I know the person I want to be. I'm definitely not that person I want to be yet, but I will be one day. That's the goal. So back to the topic on educating children in business and entrepreneurship. The other issue is obviously I've come through the education system right the way through. Just going past some people a second. Morning. I came right the way through the education system, all the way up to getting an honours degree in business studies. So you'd think I'd have a pretty well-rounded and educated view on business. However, having run multiple businesses, grown 1 to 7 figures, 1 to 6 figures, failed numerous times, pretty good level of experience in terms of what works, what doesn't work, and I can honestly say that probably I use maybe 5 to 10% of my education in the traditional education system sense in my daily life, which says to me that if you want to be an entrepreneur, going through the education system route that I did probably isn't the best way. Hence my desire on personal development and self-education. Hence I read a book a week on Audible, always to do with entrepreneurship, personal development, productivity, running, all the stuff that I'm massively interested in to kind of broaden my horizons and learn from experts in their industry. So one of the key books in my journey, it's one in so many other people's journeys, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And it is so obvious now that so many people know about it, but if you've never read it, it is like the biggest light bulb book. Well, it was for me, along with the E-Myth maybe. But for me, Rich Dad Poor Dad just made something that's so complicated in real life seem so simple, and everybody can get a really clear understanding about the difference between, employees, self-employed people, to business owners and investors, and how you build your assets, and then you use your assets to pay for the things that you want in life rather than spend everything you earn, like most people do on the things that they want. They're never better in their position. Assets pay you money and liabilities take it away. So it really gives you a really good, clear understanding of the financial statement, and it incorporates kind of your balance sheet and your P&L on a personal perspective to give you a net worth. And it gives you some very easy ways in which you can start focusing on growing it. So strongly recommend that book. But the reason I bring that book to the forefront, because it started with Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then there's probably about 7 books in the sequence now. I think the next one's the Cash Flow Quadrant. I think there's Rich Dad Poor Dad to Investing. It's the brand that's just taken off into multiple different directions. But one of the things I was always keenly interested in, there's Rich Kid, Smart. I think Smart Kid, Poor Kid. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a book that's for parents to read to obviously talk to their kids. And there's also a book called Escape the Rat Race by the Rich Dad series, which is like a comic book style. And I bought that recently, and I read it to my children, and my wife was a little bit concerned about pushing them into this world of entrepreneurship, which is so rewarding for some, but incredibly unrewarding, stressful, possibly damaging to many if they don't do it right. And my wife's obviously very protective of my children, as am I, but I want to make sure that I give them every opportunity, but maybe my wife wants to protect them, and there's no right or wrong there. Just different views, and I'm really keen to kind of open a bit of debate around this and get people's views on it. But I read it to my 3 children nonetheless, and my 9-year-old lad, super interested, really picked up on some of the key concepts, but it just kind of, he wanted to start a car washing business. I think he's washed a couple of cars. He's lost a bit of interest, but I don't want to be a pushy father any stretch. So that's really, really important. I don't turn into a pushy dad, because I've never wanted to be that. But I'll keep nurturing him. He took a strong interest in it when I read it. My little girl picked up some key points, and my son actually, my eldest son actually recruited my daughter and my youngest to kind of help him with the car washing duties. So he was quick on the, getting other people to do outsourcing side of things anyway. And my youngest just wanted me to read a story because it had a rat in it. I didn't get the concept at all. So I'd definitely say 5 is too young. I think 7 is absolute cusp of starting to understand things. Morning. And I'd say that 9 is probably a relatively good age to do it. Now you do need to nurture that. It's not just going to happen overnight. It's going to be a continuing education, but it can often spark a little bit of a light bulb moment with your children, and get them seeing that life is full of possibilities. And I think that, like I've said before, that I think their generation is going to be harder than ours. I think my generation was harder than my parents' generation. Can't really make too much of a judgment further back than that, but just on the cost of properties and cost of wages against how much it costs to get a house and all this type of thing, that I'm kind of basing that estimate on. So I think it was really good. I think it was a good experience to go through. I think there's a lot more work to be done. But the other thing is our children's generation are brought up in the social media world. And obviously since I started this Runpreneur blog, my kids have taken a lot of interest in my YouTube channel and stuff I'm doing, very, very early stages in what I'm doing, but they see me doing it and they see me as a role model. And I think that's going to be really, really beneficial. Well, again, my wife being opposite to me, she's quite uneasy about this vlog and what I'm doing. I think she's very supportive in her own way, but I think she's just very different in her views on things, quite a private person. And I am pretty much as well, but I'm also someone who constantly needs to push myself outside my comfort zone, because that's what makes me grow and become better as a person in all areas. So the next challenge is my oldest, my 9-year-old, now wants to start a YouTube channel, and my wife's massively against this, having children on a social channel, and I am as well in that regard, to be honest with you. However, I don't have a problem with him having a YouTube channel, a private YouTube channel, for just his friends. And then when he's old enough, he can perhaps introduce that to a wider market. But I don't want to be pushing him. I don't want to let him live my life through his. But all he wants to do is he watches the kind of computer games and football influencers channels and stuff. So that's all he could probably do. But that's massively appealing to his market. He knows his age group better than I ever would. So it's an interesting one there. I think my wife's very much against it. I'm kind of against it, but also think that there's a lot of value, a lot of lessons in doing that, but not putting it to the wider market. So it'll be really, really interesting to hear people's thoughts, especially if you've got children similar to my age, or even if you're thinking about having children, you haven't got children yet, or you've got children that are a lot older. What are your views on this? Because I've always been someone, educating my children and giving them the best chance of starting life is one of my highest values. And I've got a load of parenting books I want to read as well, and develop to become a better parent to really give the children the best chance in life. But this is something that has challenged me. I've argued in my mind on so many different viewpoints. I don't know what's right. So any advice or guidance anybody can give me here would really help. And I'd love to have a community of people that we kind of bounce ideas off each other and find a possible way to. I'm chasing cows here. There's a massive, great big bull I'm about to run past. I'm really hopeful he doesn't charge at me. I mean, he is massive. And he's behind me now. I'm not wearing red, so I suppose that's something. But yeah, no, back to the topic in question. So, I hope this information has been useful. Bit of feedback on the journey. I'm going to document this more as I do more exercises with my kids and try and teach them. I'd love to know more what other people are doing, and if any kids that have started a business, or because I've always been entrepreneurial, and that doesn't necessarily mean my children are going to be. And I've got to be very careful that I don't be pushy, because I can get so fixated on some things that occasionally I drift into that role. I really don't want to. So yeah, so I hope that's useful. To summarise, what do you think about educating children in entrepreneurship and business? How do you do it? Do you do it? Any best practices for how to do it successfully without being too pushy as a parent? And what are your experiences? Share them. Always keen to learn. And if there's a group of people who want to do this, I'm happy to kind of launch a kind of separate group where we just thrash ideas around and try and create something to better and improve children and give them more opportunity in the world of entrepreneurship and business and running. So that regard, I talked to you about getting my kids running on another episode. So I do that as well. Basically, I am a pushy parent, but I try not to be. Okay, well, that's it for me today. Hope you found it useful. As always, like, share, comment, and anything that you comment, I'll always respond. Anything's a wider ranging topic, I'll do an episode on, tag you in. And yeah, as always, stay positive, stay happy.